Ever wonder who would win in a business negotiation between a Jewish entrepreneur and a Chinese merchant? Two cultures with legendary reputations for commercial savvy, centuries of trading expertise, and an almost supernatural ability to spot profitable opportunities. But here's the twist. They're playing completely different games while thinking they're in the same competition. Let's break down this fascinating dynamic. When people talk about business genius, Jewish and Chinese names dominate the conversation. But honestly, comparing their approaches is like comparing chess masters and poker champions. Both require incredible skill, but the strategies are so fundamentally different that success in one doesn't guarantee success in the other. Picture this scenario. A Jewish venture capitalist walks into a meeting with a Chinese manufacturing executive. The Jewish investor comes armed with market analysis, growth projections, and detailed risk assessments. They want to understand the innovation potential, scalability factors, and long-term strategic positioning. Meanwhile, the Chinese executive is calculating production efficiency, supply chain optimization, and competitive pricing advantages. Both are brilliant, but they're solving completely different puzzles. Or consider their approaches to family wealth. Jewish families often emphasize education as the ultimate investment. They'll spend massive amounts on elite schools, advanced degrees, and professional development, viewing knowledge as the most portable and valuable asset. Chinese families often emphasize property and business ownership, building tangible wealth that can be passed down through generations. One culture invests in human capital, the other in physical capital. Even their networking styles reveal fundamental differences. Jewish business culture revolves around intellectual communities, professional associations, and merit-based connections. Success comes from proving your value through expertise and results. Chinese business culture revolves around relationship networks, mutual obligations, and trust-based partnerships. Success comes from building long-term reciprocal relationships that create ongoing opportunities. But here's where it gets really interesting. These aren't just different business philosophies. They're responses to completely different historical challenges. Jewish commercial culture developed under conditions of persecution, displacement, and legal restrictions. When you can't own land, can't join guilds, and might need to flee at any moment, you optimize for portable skills and liquid assets. Chinese commercial culture developed under conditions of massive scale, extended stability, and complex social hierarchies. When you're operating in the world's largest market, with established trade routes and predictable social structures, you optimize for long-term relationships and systematic efficiency. This creates fascinating complementary strengths. Jewish entrepreneurs excel at identifying emerging opportunities, creating innovative solutions, and adapting quickly to changing markets. Chinese entrepreneurs excel at scaling successful models, optimizing operational efficiency, and building sustainable competitive advantages. The technology sector showcases this perfectly. Silicon Valley's Jewish founders often create breakthrough innovations that reshape entire industries. Chinese tech companies often take those innovations and scale them to serve billions of users more efficiently than the original creators ever imagined. Both approaches create enormous value, but through completely different mechanisms. Here's what's uncomfortable to acknowledge. Both cultures have developed sophisticated ways of maintaining competitive advantages while appearing completely transparent. Jewish business culture emphasizes intellectual property, exclusive networks, and first-mover advantages. Chinese business culture emphasizes operational secrets, relationship barriers, and market positioning. Neither approach is more ethical than the other, but both can seem mysterious to outsiders. Their approaches to risk management reveal this perfectly. Jewish investors often diversify across multiple markets, asset classes, and geographic regions. The strategy is basically never put all your eggs in one basket because the basket might disappear. Chinese investors often concentrate resources in areas where they have deep knowledge and strong relationships. The strategy is put your eggs in baskets you can personally watch and protect. The really fascinating part is how they handle competition. Jewish business culture often thrives on open competition, merit-based selection, and creative destruction. The best ideas win, regardless of who proposes them. Chinese business culture often emphasizes cooperative competition, market sharing, and ecosystem development. Success comes from making everyone in your network more successful. This shows up in their international expansion strategies. Jewish-founded companies often go global by adapting their innovations to local markets. They export ideas and business models. Chinese companies often go global by replicating their operational advantages in new locations. They export systems and processes. But here's the plot twist. Maybe the question of who's more skilled is missing the point entirely. Jewish commercial success often comes from operating outside established systems. Chinese commercial success often comes from mastering established systems. They're optimizing for different objectives using different resources. Jewish entrepreneurs often succeed by creating new markets that didn't exist before. Think about how many industries were essentially invented by Jewish innovators, from Hollywood entertainment to modern finance. Chinese entrepreneurs often succeed by serving existing markets more efficiently than anyone else. Think about how many established industries have been revolutionized by Chinese operational improvements. Their approaches to education and skill development show this same pattern. Jewish culture emphasizes critical thinking, analytical reasoning, and creative problem solving. The goal is to produce individuals who can succeed in unpredictable environments. Chinese culture emphasizes systematic knowledge, collaborative execution, and disciplined implementation. The goal is to produce individuals who can excel within complex organizations. Here's what I find most interesting. When Jewish and Chinese business approaches actually combine, the results are often extraordinary. Jewish innovation paired with Chinese execution creates some of the most successful global companies. But these partnerships require both sides to acknowledge that their approach isn't complete by itself. The really uncomfortable truth is that both cultures have probably been mythologized beyond reality. Jewish commercial success gets attributed to some kind of genetic business genius, when it's actually the result of specific historical circumstances and cultural adaptations. Chinese commercial success gets attributed to ancient wisdom and cultural secrets, when it's actually the result of systematic education and coordinated effort. Maybe the real insight is that both cultures developed sophisticated commercial strategies because they had to. Jewish communities needed portable wealth strategies to survive persecution and displacement. Chinese communities needed scalable coordination strategies to manage complexity and competition. Both solutions work brilliantly within their original contexts. But here's where it gets controversial. In today's global economy, both traditional approaches face new challenges. Jewish emphasis on individual innovation struggles with the need for massive scale coordination. Chinese emphasis on systematic execution struggles with the need for breakthrough innovation. Neither culture's traditional strengths automatically translate to contemporary business success. The most successful modern entrepreneurs often combine elements from both traditions. They use Jewish-style opportunity identification with Chinese-style execution discipline. They build Chinese-style relationship networks while maintaining Jewish-style analytical rigor. The future might belong to hybrid approaches rather than pure cultural strategies. Here's my controversial take. Asking who's the better business culture is like asking whether mathematics or language is more important for human communication. Both Jewish and Chinese commercial traditions represent sophisticated solutions to different aspects of the same fundamental challenge. How do you create and distribute value in complex social systems? The mutual respect between these cultures often comes from recognizing that the other side has mastered something they haven't. Jewish entrepreneurs admire Chinese operational discipline and long-term thinking. Chinese entrepreneurs admire Jewish creative innovation and adaptability. Neither thinks the other approach is wrong, just different. Maybe the real question isn't who's more skilled, but what we can learn from both traditions. Jewish commercial culture teaches us about resilience, adaptability, and creative problem solving. Chinese commercial culture teaches us about coordination, efficiency, and systematic development. Both lessons are valuable. So here's what I want to know. Have you worked with entrepreneurs from both cultures? Did you notice the different approaches I've described? Or did individual personality override cultural patterns? Which strategy appeals more to your own business instincts? And here's the bigger question. In an increasingly connected global economy, do traditional cultural approaches to business still matter? Or are we moving toward universal best practices that transcend cultural boundaries? Share your experiences with Jewish and Chinese business cultures in the comments. I'm genuinely curious whether these patterns hold up in different industries and contexts. And if you think I've oversimplified or missed important aspects of either tradition, let me know. If you enjoyed this cultural deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more mind-bending cultural insights, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Which culture should I decode next? See you in the next one.